So people ask me how I got started into model railroading, and this garden train is my first ever model railroad. My husband had an HO train as a young person, and then when he moved to the United States, he was going to start an HO again. So we went to, in March of 2017, we went to the Piedmont train show at the Galleria, and we were looking around. We found some HO stuff for him, which was kind of interesting, but I've got bad eyesight, so I can't see the little trains. And in the back corner, I saw these great big trains running around on the floor by the Georgia Garden Railway Society, and I stopped and talked with them. And it turned out not only were the trains big enough that I could work on them, but they could also go out in the garden and stay there. The track stays there, the buildings can stay there, the train itself can run in the snow, so I thought that was pretty cool. And while I can grow flowers and shrubs and nice bushes and vegetables, the one thing I can't grow is grass. So I had this one spot in my front yard that I was struggling to try and get grass to grow. It wouldn't grow, and I said, fine, I can't grow grass. I can grow a model railroad in my front yard, and that's how my model railroad came into being.
Hello, I'm Peter, and I've been a member of the Piedmont Division now for about 4 years. What I have is a modular HO scale layout, and it combines both British and American features. We'll start off with this module, which is the fiddle yard. It's a peculiar British thing. The idea is on one track you can arrive trains off your layout. You can then switch them to bring a break up and make down. You swap the rolling stock with what you've got in storage, and it will then become the departure track. Once it's departed, you can then make it empty as the arrival track again, and so on. And you can work through the cycle with the three tracks in turn. So I've identified so far about 14 different trains that I can run into my model layout here. Everything from local freight and local passenger. This is Dawsonville, where we live, and over there it will go down to Gainesville, and back this way it would go across to Tate. So I can have through freights, I can have maintenance of way trains, a whole variety of trains can make their appearance and do their stuff on the layout. The key thing about modular is it provides you an environment where you can experiment. So this will eventually be a scratch-built model of the Dawsonville courthouse where I got married, having emigrated into the United States. In front of it are some models that I picked up at the train show and have weathered with pan pastels, which is a technique I thoroughly recommend. The post office is a woodland scenics ready to plant model. again with a little bit of pan pastel weathering to try and blend it in. And then the third module is a Y, and I can do sort of two things with this. I can either use this as a lead track for my shunting, so I can do switching puzzles should I be so inclined, or I can use it to run round trains. So now as to what would be appropriate for industry, so to speak. This is 1920s Dawsonville, as if the railroad had arrived instead of going up to Dahlonega and Helen. So back then a mule was about 80 to 100 bucks. It was the F-150 of its day. So this is the Dawsonville Mule Company. It'll have mules shipped in by rail and then sold out into the area. The water tower, some of you may recognize, it's got nice automated sound features, so if I'm entertaining kids at STEAM events or whatever at our library, that does the nice noises and whatever. And then this lumber yard is the first model that I actually built of any significance. And then this was a pickup at a train show, and that I think is a ready-to-plant woodland scenic like the post office.